No, look, I'll be brief. Deputy Healy-Rae was quite hard on the Minister for the Environment there, given that this finance bill gives you €3,000 for a bicycle with a basket on the front of it. But God forbid if you have to go up the road with your car, because you'll be paying for it. But look, I think I have 4 amendments here in relation to carbon tax, the prices of petrol and diesel. And what we've done, as the Minister will well know, we understand the limitations in terms of the Energy Directive in terms of the European Union. But these all fit within the Energy Tax Directive, where it allows the government additional scope to reduce the price of petrol, reduce the price of diesel, reduce the price of marked gas oil, particularly affect the agricultural sector, and also reduce the price of home heating oil. So let me just be very clear. What we want to do in these amendments is reduce petrol by a further 15 cent, diesel by 12 cent, and reduce the fill of home heating oil, 1,000 litres, by €117. I think what has happened, what this government has done to all of those families who heat their homes, 37% of the state who heat their homes with home heating oil, is nothing less than a disgrace. It is absolutely disgraceful that that has happened. That is more pronounced in areas like my own area, like Deputy Healy-Rae's area, rural communities where 2/3 of families use home heating oil to keep them warm this winter as the temperatures have dropped, as we've seen in the last week. And yet what this government has decided to do, no decrease whatsoever. Indeed, what they're asking us to do and what they would vote for if they had an opportunity, but unfortunately we won't get an opportunity to vote in this year, is actually to increase the cost of home heating oil next year again. And that's just absolutely disgraceful. I think it's out of touch. All of the backbenchers in Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil, when this debate is guillotined in the next few minutes, remember what you're voting for. You're voting to put up the price of home heating oil again in this finance bill. And it makes no sense whatsoever. It's an ideological battle that Eamon Ryan and the Green Party are fighting, but it is out of touch with the reality of where people are at. People are buying home heating oil by the jars. They're not phoning up and looking for a 500 litre fill or a 1,000 litre fill. They're buying it by 5-gallon drums because they can't afford to fill their tanks. And what the government are doing, so out of touch, so under a rock when it comes to the pressures that real people, and particularly in the country, are facing, is they say, you know what we'll do, folks? We'll sit round this cabinet table, and what about this for an idea? Sure, why don't we put up the price of home heating oil a little bit further, despite the facts? And the facts are that home heating oil has increased by 145% since January of last year. The other disgrace here, and I'll finish on this here, is that this is coming to a guillotine, that the government imposed a guillotine on this. We're at amendment number 30. We can't deal with many other amendments that I put down. I didn't even get a chance to discuss them because of the guillotine that's imposed. We're dealing with another piece in this, and every backbencher should hear this. When they come in a minute to vote for this, they're voting to put up the price of housing in terms of the levy that they're putting on concrete blocks and poured concrete. I would also point out to the Minister, if I had a chance to discuss this amendment, there's a flaw in your legislation, and it will come back to haunt you in relation to how you have drafted that legislation. I don't think it will legally stand up in relation to parts of it, but I leave it at that given the limitation of time and other deputies want in.